Have you ever looked in the mirror and barely recognized the reflection staring back at you? Not because of age, or makeup, or clothes, but because of a deeper disconnection from who you know you're meant to be? That's exactly what happened to Liliana. 7 months ago, she stood in front of a scale at a public skydiving center, trying to contain her embarrassment as a stranger read her weight out loud. That moment cut deeper than she expected, not just because of the number, but because of what it represented. A long period of ignoring her own needs. Letting herself slip into habits that dulled her light. And yet, from that painful moment, something powerful was born. She didn't rush into a 30-day shred. She didn't sign up for a boot camp or buy some trendy detox. Instead, she started small. Drinking more water. Cutting back on sugar. Walking every day with her partner. Making space to breathe. Learning to forgive herself for the slips, and keep going anyway. By the end of just 7 months, she had shed 42 pounds. But more importantly, she had rebuilt trust with herself. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how she did it, not just what she ate or how she moved, but the emotional rewiring and sustainable practices that made the weight loss inevitable. No gym. No crash diets. No gimmicks. Just real change. That lasts. Let's talk about why Liliana's story resonated with so many people, and why her video exploded with over 100,000 views on TikTok within just a few days. Because her transformation wasn't flashy. It wasn't filtered or edited to perfection. It was messy, honest, human, and incredibly relatable. When she shared how a skydiving weigh-in triggered a complete shift in how she viewed her health, it didn't feel like another Fitspo story. It felt like a wake-up call we all quietly fear, and quietly need. She didn't count every calorie. She didn't eliminate every indulgence. She didn't torture herself at the gym. Instead, she focused on 4 simple pillars: emotional clarity, movement she actually enjoyed, mindful eating, and small, consistent goals that stacked up over time. What made her story viral wasn't just the weight she lost, it was the weight she let go of emotionally. The pressure to be perfect. The fear of starting over. The shame of not being enough. She documented her journey honestly. The good days and the bad. The small victories, like sleeping better and waking up energized, and the setbacks that made her want to quit. And that's what pulled people in. That vulnerability. That permission to be flawed, but still show up. That's what made her story matter. That weigh-in before skydiving wasn't just a number. It was a slap in the face, a confrontation with reality. Liliana described it as the worst ego hit I've ever taken, and you could hear the heartbreak in her voice. But it also became her starting line. You know those moments in life where you feel completely exposed, vulnerable, even humiliated? They suck. But they also strip away our excuses. They shine a light on the areas we've been avoiding. And that's where true change begins. She could have walked away from that moment angry, or buried it under shame. But instead, she let it open a door. She asked herself, what if I could change, not because I hate my body, but because I want to take care of it? That shift, from punishment to purpose, was everything. Because when your reason for change is rooted in love, not fear, you start making decisions that support your future self. So she started small. 1 walk. 1 choice. 1 promise to herself, no more hiding. Liliana didn't join a gym. In fact, she hated gyms. She'd tried them before, and they always felt cold, intimidating, performative. So this time, she did something radical. She chose joy. Every morning, she and her partner would take a walk to grab coffee. At first, it was 10 minutes. Then 20. Then 30. Soon, they were walking 45 minutes every single day, not because they had to, but because it became a ritual. A space for connection, conversation, and movement. No sweat-drenched workouts. No pressure. Just motion. And that's what so many people miss. You don't need intensity, you need consistency. Think of it like watering a plant. You don't dump a gallon on it once a week. You give it what it needs, every day. And over time, it thrives. Movement rooted in joy, not guilt, is sustainable. It's healing. And for Liliana, it became the foundation of her transformation. Now let's talk food. Liliana didn't follow a strict meal plan. She didn't label foods as good or bad, she simply started paying attention. She noticed how certain meals left her feeling sluggish and bloated, while others gave her energy and clarity. She experimented with intermittent fasting, not as a restriction, but as a rhythm that worked for her lifestyle. Most mornings, she'd fast until 11 a.m., starting her day with coffee, unsweetened, and water. Her first meal would be something nourishing: eggs with avocado, or oats with almond butter and berries. For lunch and dinner, she focused on whole foods, proteins, healthy fats, fiber-rich veggies. But she didn't deprive herself. She had chocolate. She had pasta. She just didn't binge anymore. The biggest shift? She stopped eating to numb. She started eating to feel. And over time, that awareness rewired her relationship with food. Her cravings changed. Her body responded. And food became fuel, not a battle. One of Liliana's most effective tools was her weekly ritual. Every Sunday, she'd choose one new habit to focus on. Sometimes it was drinking 1 liter more water per day. Sometimes it was going to bed 30 minutes earlier. Sometimes it was trying a new healthy recipe, or spending less time on her phone. These weren't drastic changes. They were manageable. Repeatable. Designed to build momentum, not resistance. And here's the key: she only focused on one at a time. That simplicity is what made it stick. When you stack too many changes at once, you burn out. But when you give your brain one target, you build confidence. You start proving to yourself that you can follow through. And that's self-trust? That's what fuels long-term change. Liliana didn't do this alone. Every day, she walked with her partner. They talked about their goals, their fears, their wins and losses. They celebrated each other. Held each other accountable. And that connection made a massive difference. Because let's be honest, changing your habits can feel lonely. Especially when you're surrounded by people who aren't on the same path. But when you have someone in your corner, cheering you on, reminding you of your why, it's easier to keep going. Your environment matters. It either supports your growth, or sabotages it. And Liliana built hers intentionally. She cleared her kitchen of triggers. She followed people online who inspired, not shamed. She leaned into real conversations, not toxic comparisons. And that's what kept her grounded. Liliana didn't just track pounds. She celebrated everything the scale couldn't measure. Better sleep. Fewer headaches. Clearer skin. More confidence. Less bloating. More energy. Looser clothes. Calmer mornings. A deeper sense of pride. She even declared 1 week every month as a "no way" week, just to remind herself that progress isn't always visible. Because here's the truth, your body isn't a math problem. It's a story. And every chapter matters, even the ones without a dramatic before and after. Liliana's story proves something powerful. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. You don't need to punish yourself into progress. You don't need to wait for perfect conditions. You just need to begin with one choice. One walk. One glass of water. One promise to yourself that you will show up, not perfectly, but consistently. Her 42-pound transformation in 7 months wasn't magic. It was mindset. It was commitment. It was love. And if she can do it, you can too. Like the video? Hit the like button and subscribe. Which of these strategies have you already tried? Let me know in the comments.